Liberty City really comes to life at night. During the day, it's crowded, yeah, but not quite the same as the night. Nothing beats sitting on top of a skyscraper and staring down at the array of lights, blinking and flashing in every direction. Occasionally, you can see a helicopter or plane pass by in the distance. It's all so full of life. Who would have thought that just under everyone's feet is an ongoing network of tunnels and subway tracks? The train runs all through the night, from the lighted loading stations into the depths of those damned tunnels. Down in the heart of the trains lies a vast intersection of tracks. This area is also where a couple of hundred homeless people flock to escape the cold and police. Most people like to call it Hoboland. While I've not been down there myself, I've heard stories from people that have. A couple accidents happened which caused the train to shut down right on the tracks. People there conversed with the homeless people and came back with wild stories of a strange being that apparently lived down in the subway. The man could actually run swiftly, almost in a scurrying fashion according to several witnesses. The story eventually evolved to where the man was supposed to have excess body hair and the face of a rat, deeming the name Ratman. It made the nighttime subway ride home all the more unnerving. I work in one of these skyscrapers you see at Liberty City. Most of the time, I get off at 9 p.m. just as the nightlife is starting to pick up, but it's almost always dark by then. A few of my co-workers take the subway home at night too, one of whom is actually a close friend. At some point around a year ago, my friend, we'll call him Geordie, was caught up in one of the trains breaking down. Not even 300 yards away was a maintenance entrance exit for the train workers. So Geordie told the driver that he would just walk up to the exit and ride a taxi home. While the rest of the riders stayed aboard, Geordie climbed off and started a short hike out of the subway. The only thing that is known after that is that around 4 a.m, police found Geordie walking down the street in a daze. He was covered in an orangish goo with the same texture as blood and stank like feces. It took a couple of weeks for Geordie to even respond, and once he did, he still had no memory of what happened between approximately 10:30 p.m. and 4 a.m. when he was found. I tried to talk to Geordie since he was a good friend of mine, but he didn't appear to be the same man until at least 3 months later. After that, he returned to work and resumed his life, but still talked noticeably less than before. One day, he and I were alone in lunch hour, and he started to speak again. It was the first time I had actually seen him speak more than a couple of words since the incident.
I saw the Ratman,
he said, staring at his glass. You saw what? I asked, thinking he was still delusional.
Actually, I fought him. He just came running at me, and before I knew it, I was being clawed up. It was mainly just scratches, but just the way he moved. It was so fast. I managed to land one good hit on him and dug my thumbs in his eyes before he started emitting this orange-colored blood. That was what really got me. The smell was unbearable.
I wasn't sure how to react. What happened next? I asked him.
He ran off after I got his eye, but I'm certain he didn't die. He's still out there somewhere, and I have to finish him off.
After that, Geordie became obsessed with this figure living in the subways. He'd often stay up all night, riding the trains back and forth, hoping it would break down. Other times, Geordie would actually take the extreme step of climbing down onto the tracks and following alongside of them into the darkness. Armed with a camera and a knife, he snapped pictures of anything that looked suspicious. I only saw Geordie a handful of times after he became so fixated on the Ratman. Once, I visited his apartment. It was absolutely littered with newspaper clippings, sketches, printed articles, and alleged pictures, all of which supported the cryptid living in the subway. They dangled from his ceiling and covered the floors, walls, and even his bed. Geordie himself looked horrible as well. He rarely showered or shaved anymore, so he stank along with the apartment. I tried to convince him to go get help and try to clean himself up along with his home, but he refused and I eventually left, defeated and worried about my friend. A few weeks later, Geordie quit showing up to work. It was just like that. No notice, no excuse, just complete absence. When my boss tried to phone his house, there was no answer. We all decided it'd be best to visit his apartment again since he lived alone. When we approached the apartment complex, there was a large group of police officers surrounding the entrance. Geordie had apparently wandered off into the black tunnels of the Underground Railway one night and never returned. A full-scale search was started 3 days after he didn't return to his apartment building. The search team ventured towards the heart of the subway, all the way to flocks of homeless people, where they questioned many of them. A few of the more competent hobos reported seeing a troubled man matching Geordie's description. According to them, the man thought to be Geordie was distraught and nearly sprinting towards one of the tunnels. He was holding a flashlight and had it aimed in the direction he was running. After that, nobody saw or heard anything else. After 3 more weeks, the search was closed and Geordie was given up for lost. There was never a body recovered, nor any evidence to suggest any fate for my friend. Since then, I've avoided using the subway. I just can't seem to bring myself to see those tunnels again. However, some of my co-workers still take the trains home at night. The trains still break down at times and stories still come trailing back from the depths. The homeless people still see a furry figure traversing the dark passageways of the tunnels. However, now there's a new series of sightings. Every so often, it is reported that beams of light sometimes flash past distant tunnels. The description matches almost perfectly with that of a flashlight. Part of me feels that Geordie died the night he ventured off the train and fought whatever that was down in the tunnel, but the other part of me thinks he's still down there, and whatever it is he needs to finish, well, I hope he succeeds.